In today's video, I am going to teach you everything you need to know about conditional control flow expressions in Kotlin. Hello and welcome to Learn with Tam. I'm Tarique Ali Mirza and my goal is to make you a kickass Android developer. If you are new here, I suggest that you watch this series from the beginning to get the most out of it. In a previous lecture, I used the if-else expressions to bypass the restrictions on my nullable variables. But at that time, I did not bother explaining the details about those expressions. In today's video, I will demonstrate the usage of if, else, and when conditional expressions in Kotlin. So, without further ado, let's jump right into our system and get started. Let us first create a new project. So, open Android Studio. Now click on Create New Project. Select No Activity, then click on Next. Give your project a name. And then click on Finish. Once your project is ready to work with, go to the Project Explorer and open the App folder. Then open the Java folder. Then right-click on your package folder and select New, then select Kotlin file. Now give your file a name and press enter. Let us create the entry point function. Like most programming languages, even Kotlin gives us the option to control the flow of our program. It is achieved with the help of conditional expressions. You have already seen me use them in a previous lecture. Let me show you an example to refresh your memory. As you can see, on line number 4, I have created a variable named age and stored the value 32 in it. On line number 6, we are using the if expression to check if the value stored within the variable age is less than 18. If the value stored within the age variable is less than 18, then the block of code after the if expression is called. And in that case, we will see you are not an adult because your age is $age, where $age will be replaced by the actual value of the variable printed on the console. If the value within the age variable is not less than 18, then the else block of code will be executed, and in this case it will print you are an adult because your age is $age, where once again the $age will be replaced by the value stored within the variable age. Let me run this program so that you can see the output. As you can see, we get one print statement which says you are an adult because your age is 32. Since we stored the value 32 within the age variable, the second statement was called. Let me now reduce the value of age to less than 18 and see the output. Now let's rerun the program. As you can see, the output is now you are not an adult because your age is 12. As you can see, we could use the value stored within age variable and the if expression to decide whether we want to execute one block of code or the other block of code. In our case, whether we want to print one statement or the other statement. So, I guess you get the point. We can use the if-else expression to decide what we want to do next in our program. This worked fine because we had only one condition to check. If that condition was met, we wanted to print one statement, whereas if that condition was not met, we wanted to print another statement. But what if we have multiple conditions to check? Let me show you how to do that with an example. As you can see, on line number 13, I am checking if the value stored within the variable age is less than 13. On line number 15, I am checking if the value stored within the variable age is greater than or equal to 13 and less than 18, which means that we are checking if the value stored within the variable age is between the values 13 and 18, but not equal to 18. In the next expression, we are checking if age is equal to 18 or 19. And then, once again, we have the default case. If none of these cases are true, we have the default case. If the first condition is true, then we print you are a kid. If the second condition is true, then we print you are a teenager but not an adult. If the third condition is true, then we print you are a teenager as well as an adult. If none of these conditions are true, we print you are an adult. Let me comment out the code from the previous example so that I can show you the output for this example. Now let's run this program. As you can see, on line number 4, the value stored within the variable age is right now 12. When the program comes to line number 13 and it checks whether age is less than 13, the answer comes down to true. So, the code within the first if block is executed and we see "You are a kid" printed to the console. Let me increase the value of age so that we can see other outputs printed. As you can see on line number 4, I have changed the value of age from 12 to 16. Now let's rerun the program and see what the output is. As you can see, when we have 16 saved in our age variable and the code encounters the first check, that is age is less than 13, which is 16 is less than 13, the answer comes down to be false because 16 is greater than 13. So, it does not execute the code within the first if block. The execution moves to the else block, after which we have another condition. That is, age is between 13 and 18. 16 is between 13 and 18, so "You are a teenager but not an adult" is printed. Now let me change this value to 18. Now I will rerun the program. When the value of age is 18, the first check fails, so it goes to the next check. The next check also fails because age is not less than 18, so it goes once again to the next check. And here age equal to 18 passes and age equal to 19 fails. But since we had an OR operator here, either of these conditions being true gives us the result true. So the third check gives us a true result. Therefore, the execution moves to line number 18, where "You are a teenager as well as an adult" is printed. Now let's change the age back to 32 and rerun the program. As you can see, when the age is 32, the first check fails, so the execution never moves to line number 14. The second check also fails, so the execution never moves to line number 16. The third check also fails, so execution does not move to line number 18. Since all other checks failed, the execution moves to line number 20, which is the else block, and therefore the console prints "You are an adult." There is absolutely no limit to the number of checks that you can perform by chaining multiple if-else expressions. It is worth pointing out that Kotlin does not have a ternary operator, which is part of most other programming languages. The reason for that is that in Kotlin, if is an expression, which means that it returns a value. So, we can use if and else to perform the task of a ternary operator. Let me show you how. As you can see, on line number 24, I am using if as a ternary operator. When the execution of the program reaches line number 24, it creates a variable named message, and then it executes the expression on the right hand side to decide what value should be stored within that variable. In this case, it checks if age is less than 18. In case the answer to this expression turns out to be true, then the string "You are not an adult" is saved to the message variable. And if the age variable is not less than 18, then "You are an adult" is saved to the message variable. On line number 25, I am printing the message variable and the current value stored in age is 32. Let me run this program so that you can see the output. As you can see, I have commented out all the previous code and the only code running is on line number 24 and 25 apart from the variable that I created on line number 4. After this line was executed, the message was printed as "You are an adult" because at the moment age is 32. So when we check whether age is less than 18, the answer comes down to be false. So "You are an adult" is sent to the variable message. Now I will reduce the value of age. Let's rerun the program and see the output. As you can see, the output comes down to "You are not an adult." So, when the compiler came down to line number 24, it created the message variable, then it checked whether age is less than 18 or not. In this case, age is 12, which is less than 18. So, it saved the text "You are not an adult" in the message variable, and then on the next line, it printed that text. But that's not all. Just like earlier, you can chain multiple if-else expressions here as well. Let me show you an example. As you can see, on line number 28, I am using a chain of if-else expressions to decide which text to store in my message variable. Let me first run this program so that you can see the output. As you can see, the console window prints "you are not an adult" from line number 25 and "you are a kid" from line number 29. Let's see how it got printed. The value of age was 12. So, when execution was transferred to line number 24, the program first checks whether age is less than 18. Right now, the value of age is 12, so that is less than 18. So, the text "you are not an adult" is stored within the message variable, which is then printed on line number 25, and that is exactly what we see in the first output. And later in the code, on line number 28, it once again checks whether age is less than 13, which once again is true. So, the value "you are a kid" is stored in the message variable, which is once again printed on line number 29. You see the second output "you are a kid" because of this print statement. Now, let me change the value of age to something like 21. And now, let's run the program once again to see the output. As you can see, the first output is "you are an adult" and the second output is also "you are an adult." When the program execution comes to line number 24 and it checks whether age is less than 18, the answer comes down to false. So, "you are an adult" is stored within the message variable, which is later printed on line number 25. Then the program execution comes to line number 28, where it checks whether age is less than 13, which is not true. So, execution is transferred to the next if block, where it checks whether age is between 13 and less than 18, which is once again not true. So, the execution is once again transferred to the next check, where we are checking age is equal to 18 or age is equal to 19, which is once again false because age is neither 18 nor 19. So execution once again gets transferred to the last else block, where "you are an adult" is stored in the message variable, which is printed on line number 29. And therefore, you see two outputs in the console window and both of them saying "you are an adult" because on line number 25, the value within message variable was "you are an adult", and on line number 29 as well, the value within the message variable was once again "you are an adult". Even though we can chain multiple if-else expressions, the program becomes lengthy. As you can see, even though we are performing only 3 checks, the line has already become huge. What if we want to do something more complicated than that? In that case, the code will become unreadable. To counter this situation, most programming languages use something called a switch case. But in Kotlin, we use the when expression, which is similar to switch case. Let me show you how it works with the help of an example. As you can see, I have written a when expression from line number 32 up to line number 37. What I am doing within this expression is that I am first checking whether age is less than 13, and according to that, I am printing "you are a kid". If age is greater than equal to 13 and age is less than 18, then I am printing "you are a teenager". If age is equal to 18 or it is equal to 19, I am printing "you are an adult teenager". And if none of the cases turn out to be true, I am printing "you are an adult". Now, this is one way you can write the when expression. But there is always a better way. But before I show you the better way to write the same thing, let me first run this program so that you can see the output. At this point, I will comment out the code from the previous example. Now let's run the program. Let me now walk you through how Kotlin decided to print "you are an adult" instead of the other options. When code execution came to line number 33, it checked whether age is less than 13, which was not the case because currently the value of age is 21. So, the code execution was transferred to line number 34, which is the next line, and here it checked whether age is between 13 and less than 18, which was also not the case because 21 is greater than 18. Then the code execution was transferred to the next line, where it checked whether age is equal to 18 or equal to 19, which is once again not the case. So, when all conditions failed, the execution was transferred to line number 36, where it printed "you are an adult", and that is exactly what we see in our console window. Let me change the value of age once again to get a different output. I have saved the value 15 in age, and now let's run the program. As you can see, this time we have 15 stored within age. So, when the compiler checked whether age is less than 13, the answer was false. So the code execution moves to the next line, where it checks whether the age value is within 13 and 18, which is true because the value 15 is indeed within the range of 13 and 18. Therefore, it prints you are a teenager. Now, let me show you another way, or rather a better way of doing what we have done from line number 32 up to line number 37. But first, let me comment this code out. As you can see, on line number 39, I am once again using the when expression, and this time I am passing it the variable age. So, whatever checks I am performing from line number 40 up to line number 43 will be performed on the age variable. I will not have to write age again and again like we did in our previous example. This already makes the code look a lot better and a lot more readable as well. As you can see, on line number 40, all I'm saying is if age is within 0 to 12, then print you are a kid. If age is within 13 to 17, then print you are a teenager. If age is within 18 and 19, then print you are an adult teenager. And if none of the cases are true, then print you are an adult. Now, let me run this program so that we can see the output. As you can see, the output is once again you are a teenager because I have saved the value of 15 within age. Now I have changed the value of age to 7 and let's rerun the program. As you can see, because the value of age was 7, the result of the expression whether age is between 0 to 12 turns out to be true. Therefore, the code on the right hand side was executed. If the second expression turns out to be true, then the code on its right hand side will be executed. If the third expression turns out to be true, then the code on its right hand side is executed, and if none of those cases turn out to be true, then the default case is executed. Just in case you are not being able to follow what I mean by 0, double dot and 12, it is nothing but the range operator, which I covered in the last video. To recap, as soon as the program comes to line number 39, it knows that it has to check the age variable against multiple conditions. On line number 40, it checks whether age is in the range of 0 and 12. And then on line number 41, it checks whether the age is in the range of 13 and 17. And it does so unless it finds a condition to be true. And if none of the conditions turn out to be true, then the default case is executed. I am pretty sure that now you are familiar with if, else, and when in Kotlin. Just one last thing about the when expression. In these examples, we are using when as a statement. But just like if expressions, we can use when as an expression too. Let me show you how with the help of an example. For this example, let us assume that we are making an application to manage students of a school. And while making that application, we come across a situation where we have to convert the class of a student from numbers to Roman numbers. As you can see, on line number 48, I am using when as an expression. I am assigning its result to another variable. Let us run this program and see the output before I walk you through the code. As you can see, the output is student is in class 4 or the Roman number 4. Now, let me walk you through what happened when we clicked on the run button. On line number 47, the variable student class was created with the value 4. On line number 48, the compiler created a variable named class in Roman. And then, to assign its value, we are using a when expression. In that when expression, we are using the value from the student class and comparing it with the values in our conditions. When the value in student class is 1, then the Roman number 1 is stored within class in Roman. When the value in student class is 2, then the Roman value 2 is stored within class in Roman. And similarly, it checks for all the values until it encounters something that is not present within these conditions. And in that case, it stores NA within class in Roman, which simply means that it is not applicable. The value of our variable was 4, which is not equal to 1. So the execution moves to the next line and it checks whether 4 is equal to 2, which is also not true. So it moves to the next line. It checks whether 4 is equal to 3, which is once again not true. So it moves to the next line and checks whether 4 is equal to 4, which is true. So it saves the Roman value 4 within class in Roman. And once it is done storing the value in class in Rome, the execution moves to line number 57, where it encounters a print statement and print student is in class $student class, which replaces the student class variable with the value 4, or $class in Roman, which replaces the variable class in Roman with its actual value. And so we see student is in class 4 or the Roman number 4. Now let me change that value from 4 to something like 9 and rerun the program. As you can see, When this expression was executed, it could not find any match for the number 9. So, the else clause was called and NA was saved in class in Roman. Even though it is possible to convert the number 9 to the Roman number 9, I chose only to convert from number 1 to number 6. Let's say because our school only has classes up to class 6. So, a conversion beyond the class of 6 is not applicable to our school. And that is exactly the output that you are getting. As you have seen in these examples, the when expression comes in very handy when we have a lot of checks to make. Writing the same code with the if expression would be a nightmare. With this topic covered, now you can write programs that can make decisions based on the conditions that you provide. The next logical step from here is to cover loops in Kotlin. And that's exactly what we'll do in the next video. That's all for today's video. As always, feel free to share your valuable thoughts and feedback in the comment section. If you like the video, smash that like button. If you are new to the channel, consider subscribing. And don't forget to hit the bell icon to receive timely updates of all future uploads. I'll see you in the next one.